First at 9 this Sunday, the 17th of November 2024. The investment inspection. IMF delegation led by IMF Senior Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, Peter Brewer, touches down for the EFF's third review. Successful completion of the third review to unlock next tranche of Sri Lanka's $2.9 billion bailout package. Cabinet of Curiosities. New Cabinet of Ministers to be sworn in tomorrow at the Presidential Secretariat. Dr. Harini Amarasuriya to continue on as the country's premier. The list dilemma. Several political parties named their national list nominees. Samagi Jana Balawega and Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, however, to contemplate the decision further. Inching closer, Sri Lanka welcomes over 60,000 tourists within the first 10 days of November, inching closer to the annual target of 2.3 million tourists this year.
Chilo Dairy, Sri Lanka Kiren Perata. Obe Vishwasi Dinu Sensorain, then Lagamati Pharmacy in Labagata Hacker.
Kanta Parisankaragato? Ape Parisan.
Asian Paints Causeway Aquasafe. Vesat Mattu together at Disney.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to Derana First at 9. I'm Aditya Edrisinghe joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. Now taking you straight to your top story this evening, ending the tenure of the caretaker government, the new cabinet of ministers of the incoming government is scheduled to be sworn in tomorrow at the Presidential Secretariat. According to the Janatha Vimukthi Peremuna's General Secretary Tilvin Silva, a decision has been taken to not make any change to the premiership currently being held by Dr. Harini Amarasuriya.
The National People's Power claimed a supermajority in the 2024 general election held to elect members of the 10th Parliament of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. The caretaker government, which managed all portfolios with only 3 cabinet ministers, is set to appoint a new cabinet tomorrow. According to a government statement, the swearing-in ceremony of the new cabinet will take place at the Presidential Secretariat at 10 a.m. tomorrow. The President's media unit confirmed that all deputy ministers will also take oaths on the same day. As per the General Secretary of the Janatha Vimukthi Peramuna, Tilvin Silva, the cabinet will consist of no more than 25 ministers. He further stated that there will be no change to premiership currently held by Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. Of the 225 members of parliament, 29 will be elected through the national list. The Election Commission has instructed the general secretaries of all political parties to submit their respective lists of nominees. The NPP, having secured a parliamentary majority, published its national list candidates today. The 18 individuals nominated for the national list seats are Bimal Niroshan Ratnayaka, Dr. Anura Karunathilaka, Professor Upali Pannilage, Eranga Udesh Veeraratna, Aruna Jayasekara, Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, Janitha Ruwan Kodituaku, Punyashri Kumar Jaikodi, Ramalingam Chandrasekhar, Dr. Najit Indika, Sugat Tilakaratna, Lakmali Kanchana Hemachandra, Sunil Kumar Gamage, Gamini Ratnayaka, Professor Ruwan Chamindarana Singha, Sugat Vasanta De Silva, Abubakar Adam Baba, and Ratnayaka Hettige Upali Samarasinghe. The Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna has named former Member of Parliament Namal Rajapaksa as its national list nominee. Sarvajana Balaya, a new political party, has nominated its leader, entrepreneur Dilip Jayavira, as its national list MP. Meanwhile, the Lanka Thamila Sukachi announced in a briefing held in Vaunia that the party's General Secretary Dr. P. Satyalingam will be its national list nominee. The former main opposition, the Samagi Jana Balawega, has not yet nominated candidates for the 5 national list seats allocated to the party.
ජාතික ලයිස්ට් උපත් කරනවා අපි.
ඔබතුමා එනවා.
ඉතින් මහලේකම් විදියට අසංකරණෙත් බන්නේ.
ඊට පස්සේ සුජීව මහත්තයත් එනවද?
දන්නේ නැහැ.
එතකොට දැන් මනෝ ගණේෂන් මහත්තයා පැරදුනා එයා එනවද?
නෑ තාම කවුද කියලා තෝරලා නැහැ.
හකීම් මහත්තයත් ඉල්ලයි, බදුරුදීන් මහත්තයත් ඉල්ලයි, දිගම්බරම් මහත්තයත් ඉල්ලයි. තව ඔබතුමාලට ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ මොනවද?
නෑ ඉතින් තියෙන දේ සාධාරණව බෙදා ගන්න වෙච්චර.
The New Democratic Front said the final decision of its national list nominees will be announced tomorrow. The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress meanwhile stated that no final decision has been made so far regarding the party's national list nominee. The Election Commission has directed all 8,888 candidates of the 2024 parliamentary election to submit their campaign expense reports within 21 days.
The Election Commission has mandated that all national list candidates must submit their expense reports to the main office. Other candidates are required to file their reports with their respective district officers.
යම් කෙනෙක් අසමත් වුණොත් ඒ ආදායම් වියදම් වාර්තා ලබා දෙන්න ඔහුට 6ට ලක්ෂයක දඩයක් නියම වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම වසර 3ක කාලයක් සඳහා ඉදිරි මැතිවරණ වල තරඟ කිරීම හෝ ඡන්දය පාවිච්චි කිරීම අහිමි වෙන්න පුළුවන්.
Additionally, the head of the International Election Observation Mission, Asiya Trilvina, stated in an official briefing today that the 2024 parliamentary election concluded successfully, maintaining freedom and transparency throughout the process.
In our observation, we find this parliament election to be free, transparent, and although less competitive campaigning compared to the recent presidential election, we also find the elections to be fair. The pre-election period, the election day, as well as the post-election period was quite calm, organized and peaceful, with very minor incidents of electoral violations or violence. Markedly lower cases of abuse of state resources or vote buying were reported by our observers during both pre- and post-election period. We applaud the Sri Lankan voters who showed exemplary discipline and commitment to exercising their voting rights and participating in this important process. With over 17 million registered voters, the election saw a turnout of 65%, which although is lower than what is normally seen in the country, this sent a very clear message to the political institution to address critical issues such as economic growth, economic recovery, political stability and governance reforms.
The Secretary General of Parliament, Kushani Rohanadira, issued a statement regarding the first session of the 10th Parliament. Accordingly, members of Parliament are requested to enter their personal information through the designated link on the Parliament website. Alternatively, forms can also be downloaded, filled and submitted. To facilitate these processes, an information desk will be operational at the Parliamentary Complex on Tuesday the 19th of November and Wednesday the 20th of November from 9:30 am to 3:30 pm. The Secretary General emphasised that the information desk is strictly accessible to members of Parliament who are advised to arrive with only their drivers on the specified dates.
Horizon Campus 2024 Intake 2. Register now.
පිරිපුන් ජීවිතයකට ඔබ සමගින් පෙරට Union Assurance.
Welcome to Cinnamon Life, South Asia's biggest entertainment hub, where awe awaits.
චන්දුරුසුමේ කාගෙන්ම අපේ සිග TV සඳහා සුපිරි ඩීල්.
Sadaharita Plantations Limited, celebrating 22 years of your trust.
As political parties, new and old, try to make sense of the massive political upheaval in Sri Lanka, let's take a look at what politicians across the political spectrum have to say about the state of affairs in Sri Lankan politics. Those who were ousted from power must take personal responsibility for their defeat. Certain individuals were penalized for decisions and actions taken by their parties this election. I left the SJB since he did not have proper leadership. He did not render his service properly as the opposition leader, and he did not provide the leadership required by the party as well. I am of the view that he will not be able to render those services in the future as well. Not just the opposition leader, the leader of the SJB should also change.
The SLFP only secured 8 seats in 1977. We have secured 40 seats and we will commence our victorious journey with the 40 MPs.
ඔබතුමාලා එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ කියලා එළියට ආවේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයා ඉල්ලනවා පරදිනවා කියලා. දැන් මෙතුමාත් ඉල්ලනවා පරදිනවා.
We made a decision regarding whether or not to follow Ranil Wickremesinghe after 26 years since his appointment as party leader in 1994. Take a look at the JVP. They kept on losing over and over again. However, they did not change leadership. It has only been 4.5 years since the appointment of our leader. Definitely, we must continue this journey while learning from our mistakes. There are no such concerns within the party. There are no such issues.
We are ready to fulfill the mandate of being the people's opposition while the current government executes its duties. There is a certain message conveyed through this election's results. We are of the view that the government should thoroughly scrutinize this message. The government urged the public to clean the previous parliament and fill it up with new faces. The people have heeded the requests of the government, and in doing so, the people have clearly urged the government to fulfill its responsibilities moving forward.
We assure you that we will not misuse the 2/3 majority in parliament bestowed upon us. We will use that as much power as much as we can for the benefit of the people. The public must be in fear. This is a government of all Sri Lankans, not just those who voted for it.
I believe that the people of this country have elected two political movements, one to the government, the other to the opposition, in order to inspire change in Sri Lanka's political culture. We have clearly understood it. We will fulfill our responsibilities accordingly. There were shortcomings on our end. We were not able to accurately place ourselves. That is the only difference.
Fast track your career from O-levels with eSoft.
After O-levels, start your Australian degree in just 8 months with ACBT's Foundation Program. Enroll now before it's too late. Call 071 115 1234 for Colombo or 077 011 3223 for Kandy.
Diabetesol, සීනිවලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
Prime Group ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට හඳුන්වා දෙන land leasing ලේසියෙන් මීටමක්.
Single 1111 up to 60% off from the 11th November to the 17th of November.
Now, an IMF delegation led by IMF Senior Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, Peter Brewer, arrived in Sri Lanka today to conduct its third review under the country's Extended Fund Facility Program, approved for Sri Lanka's recovery from its unprecedented financial meltdown, which led to social and political unrest. The successful completion of the third review will facilitate the release of the next tranche of the $2.9 billion bailout package for Sri Lanka. The International Monetary Fund approved a $2.9 billion extended fund facility for Sri Lanka over a 48-month period in tranches to bolster recovery from its grueling economic crisis. Thereby, Sri Lanka received the first tranche of the IMF bailout package totaling to $333 million on the 21st of March 2023. Thereafter, the second tranche totaling $337 million was disbursed on the 13th of December 2023. Subsequently, the third tranche of $336 million was released in June this year following the second review of the IMF. This brings the total IMF financial disbursement so far to over $1 billion. A progress review was conducted by the International Monetary Fund following each disbursement. With the potential fourth tranche of the IMF's EFF bailout package around the corner, a team from the IMF led by Senior Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, Peter Brewer, arrived in Colombo today. The IMF delegation will be in Sri Lanka until the 23rd of November, during which time the third review will be conducted. The team led by IMF Senior Mission Chief Brewer will assess Sri Lanka's economic policies, progress on ongoing reforms, and the implementation of previous agreements with the IMF. Upon successful completion of the review, the IMF is expected to release the next tranche of the bailout package to Sri Lanka. In a bid to bolster the cinematic arts in Sri Lanka, the 9th edition of the Derana Film Awards was recently held to coronate and celebrate excellence in Sri Lanka's motion picture industry. The Tamil drama Manil claimed the highly sought-after awards of Best Screenplay and Best Picture, while its director Dr. Visakesa Chandrasekaram was crowned the Best Director. Veteran songstress Dr. Nanda Malini was also felicitated at the event with a Lifetime Achievement Award. With that, here's a look at several highlights of that glamorous night of Sri Lankan cinema.
Derana Lux Film Awards.
The 9th edition of Derana Lux Film Awards was held recently at the Watersedge Battaramulla. The event, which was highly anticipated by the film industry and fans of Sri Lankan cinema alike, was telecast on TV Derana yesterday. Around 33 films released in 2023 were considered for the several awards which were to be presented at the ceremony. The coveted awards for the Best Screenplay, the Best Director and the Best Picture were claimed by Dr. Visakesa Chandrasekaram for his motion picture titled Manal.
Best picture goes to Manil.
Best actor in a leading role.
Sajith Anthony, who starred in the historical drama film Gardi, won the award for the Best Actor in a leading role, while also taking home the award for the Most Popular Actor.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Most popular actor.
And the award goes to Mr. Sajith Anthony.
Best actress in a leading role.
The award for Best Actress in a Leading Role was presented to Udari Varnakula Surya for her performance in the film Midunu Vishwaya.
Most popular actress.
Shalini Tharaka was crowned the most popular actress at the event.
Most popular actress awards goes to Shalini Tharaka.
ladies and gentlemen, most popular actress for the year 2023.
Shivakumar Lingeshwaran was adorned the Best Upcoming Actor for his brilliant performance in the highly decorated film Manal, while Dinara Punjiheva claimed the title of Best Upcoming Actress.
Popular actor in a comedy role.
The late veteran actor Jayalat Manoratna won the award for Popular Actor in a Comedy Role posthumously for his performance in the comedy Kathurumituru, while the late veteran actor Jackson Anthony won the award for Popular Actor in a Negative Role posthumously for his role in the thriller Dadaima.
Jackson Anthony මහතාගේ බිරිඳ.
In the meantime, Gajaman, Soppana Sundari and Rahas Kiyana Kandu bagged a special jury award each.
Winning a special jury award for Rahas Kiyana Kandu.
Several Sri Lankan films not yet released were also awarded at the ceremony under a special category titled Cinema of Tomorrow. Accordingly, Ilango Ram's film Tentigo was coronated the Cinema of Tomorrow Best Film at the event. The award for Cinema of Tomorrow Most Promising Director was claimed by Rukmal Nirosh, the director of Avalu Pehbalakulak, while the award for Cinema of Tomorrow Best Short Film was presented to Aragalaya. Meanwhile, the smash hit Gajaman took home the title of Blockbuster Movie of the Year.
May avurudde Blockbuster Movie of the Year Gajaman, directed by Chanaka Pereira.
Of the Year, Gajaman.
The movie Gajaman also claimed the award for the popular song. A highlight of the event was the felicitation of veteran songstress Dr. Nanda Malini, who was honoured with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the 9th edition of the Derana Lux Film Awards.
Lifetime Achievement Award of the 9th Derana Lux Film Awards goes to the voice of the nation, Acharya Nanda Malini.
Derana Lux Film Award.
Now in other local news, the USS Michael Murphy, a missile destroyer of the United States Navy and Japan's Maritime Self-Defense Force ship Samidare, arrived in Sri Lanka on a formal visit. The visit by both vessels underscored the long-standing maritime partnership between the US, Japan and Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, according to the Sri Lanka Navy, commanding officer of Japan's Samidare vessel is scheduled to call on Commander Western Naval Area Rear Admiral Chintaka Kumarasinghe tomorrow.
The Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force ship Samidare arrived at the port of Colombo on a formal visit this morning. The visiting ship was welcomed by the Sri Lanka Navy in accordance with naval pomp and circumstance. The 151-meter ship is managed by 199 crew members and commanded by Commander Naoki Koga. Sri Lanka Navy announced that the commanding officer of the ship is scheduled to call on the commander of the Western Naval Area, Rear Admiral Chintaka Kumarasinghe, at the Western Naval Headquarters tomorrow. During the ship's stay in Colombo, the crew members will also visit some tourist attractions in the country. Concluding her official visit, JMSDF Samidare will depart the island on the 19th of this month. Upon her departure, departure, the ship will engage in a passage exercise with a Sri Lankan Navy ship in the seas off the shores of Colombo. Meanwhile, the USS Michael Murphy, an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer of the United States Navy, departed the island today following the conclusion of its replenishment needs. The USS Michael Murphy, which arrived at the port of Colombo yesterday, was welcomed in accordance with naval traditions, underscoring the long-standing maritime partnership between the two nations. Its visit underscores ongoing cooperation in maritime security and the mutual commitment to maintaining regional stability. During its stay, the crew inspected resupply and routine maintenance activities, ensuring that the ship is prepared for its operational objectives.
And now some local news in brief.
A car travelling at high speed collided with a motorcycle on the Kitulwata Road, Borella this morning. The tragic accident claimed the life of the motorcyclist on the spot. Meanwhile, a jeep with an altered chassis number was found by Kandy police in Ampitiya. The vehicle has been submitted for forensic analysis, while the Kandy police have launched an investigation into the matter. In other local news, the Kathuda police arrested a woman and her assistant for defrauding individuals by claiming to provide foreign employment. The suspects had defrauded the victims of sums of money ranging from 200,000 rupees to 1.2 million rupees. The scam was uncovered after a complaint was lodged by the female suspect following a personal dispute between herself and her assistant, the second suspect in question. The police seized 66 passports and 20 milligrams of crystal methamphetamine from the suspects.
Welcome back. Now, Sri Lanka welcomed 61,767 tourists within the first 10 days of this month. According to the statistics of the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, 1,682,482 tourists have arrived in Sri Lanka between the 1st of January and the 10th of November. Based on SLTDA statistics, Sri Lanka needs at least 617,518 more tourists to achieve its target of 2.3 million visitors set for this year. The highest number of tourist arrivals this year was recorded in February, totaling 218,350 tourists. Indians topped the list of international visitors this year with 338,170 arrivals. Second on the list is the United Kingdom with a total of 150,379 arrivals. A significant number of tourists also arrived from Russia, Germany, China and France. With that, here's a look at some corporate news in brief.
Navaloka Hospitals plc announced the appointment of a new director to the company. Accordingly, Chamara Bandara was appointed as the independent non-executive director of the Navaloka Hospitals with effect from the 13th of this month. In its corporate disclosure, the company added that the newly appointed director does not hold any shares of the company as of the date of his appointment. Meanwhile, the Central Industries plc announced the appointments of Don Kapilavel Millage and Therese Priyana Gunasekara as independent non-executive directors with effect from the 30th of November 2024 and 31st of December 2024 respectively. The company stated that the relevant appointments have been reviewed and recommended by the Nominations and Governance Committee of the company on the 11th of this month. In its corporate disclosure, the company disclosed that Vel Millage has a relevant interest in 9,118 shares in the company, while Gunasekara does not have any interest in shares in the company. In other corporate news, the Bank of Ceylon announced the resignation of a director of ITS company. The bank stated that Naresh Abesekara, who served as an independent non-executive director of the company, tendered his resignation from the board of the Bank of Ceylon with effect from the 13th of November 2024.
That's all the news we have for you tonight. Thank you. Have a great night.